Perfect. Thank you so much, Rachel. All right, everybody. So, welcome. I am Jacqueline, President for the AMA Alliance. Our mission is to build healthier communities by connecting physician families and collaborating to educate and advocate. And Rachel, I will ask, could you please let's mute all the other participants? Let's see.
Jacqueline, unmute yourself.
You got muted, Jacqueline.
Is that me? Can you hear me now?
Good.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry. So, again, our mission is to build healthier communities by connecting physician families and collaborating to educate and advocate. This year, we fulfilled our mission by creating and giving our members in our states and counties tools to help strengthen them. We know that states and counties are the boots on the ground, and the more that we can help them grow, the more that we can fulfill our own personal mission. The annual meeting is, in my mind, the most important and most fun event that we have that we host during the year. It is the one event where the entire national membership can come together and you can spend time with all the faces that you've seen on Zoom throughout the year. So this year we're experimenting with a dual structure. That means that we are going to split our meeting in two. This is not a hybrid meeting. What we are going to do is on May 23rd and 24th, we are hosting a virtual session that will be from noon to 3 p.m. If we finish earlier, then we will finish earlier. During the virtual session, we will be conducting some business, specifically the bylaws portion. And then we will recess the meeting, and then we will reconvene in person June 2nd to the 4th in Nashville, Tennessee. So why are we doing it this way? One of the main reasons is we wanted to be able to accomplish two things. One, we wanted to have a much broader ability for all of our members to have a voice in our organization. So by allowing everybody to participate virtually, they can still vote on the bylaws which govern how we run our organization. Then in person, because we take care of some of that business in person, we should have much more time to connect. We know that anytime that we've been in Chicago, it's been very, very busy and very frenetic. So we wanted to slow things down a little bit, give you some time to really enjoy Nashville. Now, the next question is, why Nashville? You'll remember a year ago, a task force was formed where we analyzed all things annual. Through their work, they recommended that we move the meeting to Nashville and we move it to the week of June 2nd and the 4th. Some of the reasons why they recommended this was, one, we needed a city that was easy to access. We were also hoping for a more affordable experience for both the organization and our members. Plus, we also did not want to conflict with the AMA meeting in Chicago. So the good news is I was on Expedia today, and the Hyatt Centric in Chicago right now for the weekend is already sold out. The following weekend would have been about $500 per night. The Hyatt Centric downtown in Nashville itself is on Expedia for our weekend for $530 a night. So the fact that you all got this room rate in downtown Nashville for $259 is incredible. Also, Barb and the team has done an incredible job getting the registration significantly less. So all of that is open. So we're hoping to cut down on costs without skimping on all the things that we want to give you. So to get us started today, enough from me, I would like to turn it over to Mary Beth Ellison. She is going to be our moderator today. As I said, she is chair for the Events Council this year. And thank you so much, Mary Beth. She is, I've been serving with Mary Beth for a long time, and she's just so impressed me with not only her dedication, but her willingness to really be open to always doing things a new way and making things better. Mary Beth has served as AMA Alliance President in 2019-2020. She was co-chair for the AMA Alliance Centennial Celebration in 22, and she's currently chair for the Events Council. Mary Beth has been actively involved with the county, state, or national alliances for over 25 years. She is an AMA Alliance representative for the AMA Foundation Board of Directors. She was, and after that 3-year term, she continued on as a foundation board member, and we are so proud of her that she currently serves as the AMA Foundation Secretary. Mary Beth is a resident of Fairlawn, Ohio. She is a medical technologist with a BS from the University of Akron. Did I say that right, Mary Beth?
Yep.
She worked at Cleveland Clinic and Children's Hospital Medical Center. And she is now an empty nester. She and her husband, Richard, who is an ophthalmologist, are celebrating their 40th anniversary in April. They have 4 grown children and 2 grandchildren. 2 or 3?
3 now. Came last
3
week.
And they are planning on doing a lot of traveling, going to the theater, maybe learning dancing. And Mary Beth, I hope one of your travels will take you here to Vegas.
Yeah.
I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. And it is my honor to introduce to all of you a fantastic dynamic duo, our annual meeting chairs, Barb Savage and Amanda Barron. They will fill you in on all things annual meeting. And at the end, there will be time for questions, and or you can write your questions in the chat. First, let me tell you a little bit about Barb. Barb is also a medical technologist, and it just so happens I met her, but she didn't really know me when she worked at Cleveland Clinic, and her husband is a pathologist in hematology, and I worked under him. But we didn't know each other through the alliance at all. So look how it comes around and what you see. But anyway, Barb has served on the alliance board in 3 states, New York, Iowa, and North Carolina. She was president of the Iowa Medical Society Alliance and the North Carolina Medical Society Alliance president in 2019 through 21. She has served on the AMA Alliance National Board for many years and in many different positions. Barb was accepted into the first training session offered by the AMA Foundation for Health Literacy Train the Trainer, TOT. Following the TOT, she, along with other IMSA members, took their health literacy program, that's alliteration, say that a lot, to other medical societies and alliances across the country. She then worked as a consultant to the Iowa Health Systems, where she co-authored Building Health Literature Organizations, a guidebook to achieving organizational change. She also has an extensive experience in meeting and event planning. Thus, we have her. She is married to Dick, a retired pathologist, and has 2 daughters, Cindy and Pamela, and 2 grandchildren, Cora and Sammy. When not visiting her grandchildren, Barb's passions are golfing and Texas Hold'em poker. Now on to Amanda. Amanda is a realtor with Compass Realty in Nashville, Tennessee. She is married to Chris, a physician at Vanderbilt Medical University Center, and has 2 very busy teenage boys, Cooper and Tucker. She has built a professional network of resources, encompassing colleagues all across the United States. In addition to her support of Moving Medicine Partners, Amanda stays involved with several leadership and medical associations throughout Nashville. She lives in a beautiful home on a farm surrounded in the country. Amanda's passions are running, reading, and she has a deep desire to help the medical field connect with their community. It's so nice to have a Nashvilleite as a chair. Amanda's going to start things off today with getting us familiar with Nashville. So take it away, Amanda.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me here. Such a great introduction, and how much I have loved working with everybody. I have definitely made some lifelong friends. So thank you. So yes, as Mary Beth said, I live here in Nashville. My husband is a pediatric interventional radiologist at Vanderbilt, and I'm so excited to co-chair this year's annual event. And I'm going to share some fun facts with you and a little bit of logistics of why I think Nashville is the perfect place to host this year's event. So let me cover some of those for you. First, our event is going to be hosted at the Hyatt Centric, like Jacqueline said, in downtown Nashville. And it's a little bit different than what you have seen in the past at the Hyatt Centric in Chicago. This boutique hotel offers a very intimate feeling with a little bit more personalized service. It also is located in a very trendy part of Nashville, and we strategically did that so that way you have everything at your fingertips within walking distance. You've got shops, ATMs, even a little local grocery store, great restaurants, coffee shops. You've got Broadway with all the little honky tonks close by. The Symphony is right around the corner. You also have the Country Music Hall of Fame and many, many more things that you guys will have a plethora to choose from when you are here. The hotel does have a block of rooms reserved with, like Jacqueline said, a room rate of $259 plus tax. And they're going to honor that room rate for you 3 days prior to the event and then 3 days after the event. So it gives you a great amount of time for you to really enjoy exploring Nashville and potentially have a fun vacation with your family while you're here for the event as well. One thing I do want to mention where Jacqueline was talking about the savings you guys are getting during that month, because it also is the month where they host the country music awards and big festivals. And so that jacks the price even more. So the closer and closer we get to the June events, it's going to go up more. So we're having a really big savings for that. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is that room reservation close date is going to be May 12th. So we'll have that for a little bit for you guys, and then we'll be closing those rooms on that date. As Jacqueline talked about, as far as changing things up this year for the annual meeting, where we've got some virtual and then the in-person, and part of that was just to make sure to give you enough time to interact with one another, to really explore the city, especially with it being in a new location. Since there is so much to do, we wanted to give you guys enough time to really be able to enjoy that. Another thing that we'll be doing is we will have some hosted dinners and receptions this year, and it's going to be open to everyone. So the first one is going to be a welcome reception Thursday evening, and it'll be at 7:30. And it'll give everybody an opportunity to see everyone, mingle, and have some time to get ready and prep for the meeting the next day. So I'm really excited about that. And then the second one is actually going to be Friday evening at 5 o'clock at the hotel. There is a rooftop bar by the pool. And so we're going to have a cocktail hour. And then after that cocktail hour, we're going to have some hosted ambassador dinners right afterwards, starting around 6:30. And it's going to be a really great opportunity for those that are here or attending the meeting without delegations, or maybe give you an opportunity to have a chance to meet some of the other members, some of the other leaders, and just see them outside of the meeting. We will have signups for those ambassador dinners in May. So just keep an eye out for this because we'll be having those signups. The other important thing about that, we will have a max number of people that can sign up for those dinners, probably between 6 to 8, and we'll have different hosts that will also be at different locations. So you'll get a chance to choose. So for example, Jacqueline will be one of our hosts and Rachel will be another one of the hosts. So just keep an eye out for that. And then as far as such a fun and exciting time for us to meet our members and make new friends, keep an eye out for a frequently asked questions page. We will have that for you guys to be able to go on, hopefully have all your additional questions answered there. So the board, we are really looking forward to hosting the meeting here in Nashville. And I just thank you all for a chance to let me speak and share my love for Nashville with you. And obviously, if y'all have any questions, feel free to contact any of us. Barb, I'm going to pass the torch on to you.
Thanks, Amanda. I am Barb Savage, and I have enjoyed immensely working with Amanda on this project. She is a fireball. So continuing the road to Nashville and all you need to know, I'll have Jacqueline do a brief navigation of the website. So I'm going to turn this over to Jacqueline for a few minutes.
All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so let's see here. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so this is our public website. I'm not sure if you all know, but we are actually divided into a public website and then a private website that is members only that you have to sign on to. So when you type in AMAalliance.org, you get this beautiful website, and you scroll down and you will see the annual meeting registration is now open. You can click on that graphic and you will be on the landing page. On the landing page, right here is where you want to go to register. You will be able to register both for the in-person as well as the virtual meeting here. If you click here, you will get sponsorship and advertising opportunities. The part that you all are interested in is right here, which is you click here to reserve your room under that room block. I have to tell you, we have 50 some people on this call. If all of you are planning to come, and I already know a handful haven't even been, weren't able to sign on today, that fulfills and exceeds our room block. So get your rooms early. Here is something that I think you'll be really interested in. If you click here, you will see our agenda. This is tentative currently, but you will be able to see what we have planned for the virtual session. And this is very exciting. You will see that our guest speaker is Sam Quinones. Then on day 2, we're trying to tease you to come to the virtual portion because not everybody loves bylaws like some of us. But on day 2, Xander Lurie is CEO for Momentive, which was SurveyMonkey. This is a massive company that is, it's so exciting that we're able to get a CEO of this caliber. And he's going to come talk to us regarding corporate partnerships and philanthropy. Then this part here is where it starts. This is Thursday. It won't apply to most of you other than registration is open, and then we do have this welcome reception. But then finally, you will go into the in-person sessions and you will get all the details of what to expect in person. Okay? Here on register, let me walk you through a couple things. When you register, right now we are in early bird. Then there's regular registration, late registration. Get your early bird now. It's $2.99 instead of the $3.49. You also have optional one-day passes for those of you who are local that just want to come in. The virtual session alone is $100. If you register for either the $2.99 or the $3.49, it includes your virtual session, but you still need to register for virtual, okay? The reason why that is this. There is a quorum count for the business that we do. So we just need an accurate quorum count. And then finally here under guest meal tickets, you can, if you're bringing a spouse or a child or something else, you can also buy them a ticket as well. On sponsorships and advertising, hey, if you guys are part of a medical practice that would love to be a sponsor, please reach out to us. We would love it. But we would also love for you all to look at advertising. So here is the sponsorship levels. And then if you click right here to advertise, I think they did such a great job with this. So you can either advertise in the magazine, which you can see is a little bit of a hefty lift. You can advertise on the website, or what you all are very used to is this, advertising in the program book. So as a state or county alliance, you might want to add a full page ad to congratulate Rachel for coming in. You might want to add in a half page ad or a quarter page ad telling me that, you know, either you liked something I did, hopefully you don't take out an ad to tell me you didn't like something I did. And then finally is one thing that we are adding is a congratulatory page. So if you would like to either congratulate the current board or congratulate the incoming board for coming in, you can have your name listed on that congratulatory page for the $25. So that shows you all around this. Now, when you go into the members only side, that means you'll have to log in. The only thing that will be on the members only will be your binders. That will be all your financials, all your bylaws, everything else. You will have to log in to access that, and that will be available about 2 weeks before the meeting. Barb, is that good?
That was perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
I can now just turn it over to the next person because you've covered almost everything.
Well,
But
I know
that's
I
fine.
know I went through a lot. Please, can you just go through all your
I'm going to go through for sure. We're going to talk a little bit about those registration fees. Again, these were reduced considerably from last year. And as you saw on the website, the early bird is $2.99, and that has a long date timeline on it, March 15th to April 30th, and the regular registration at $3.49 from May 1st to the 12th. And the late registration, $3.99 from the 13th to the 26th of May. And these regular registration fees include the virtual meetings, lunches, installation breakfast, welcome reception, the cocktail reception on the roof at the rooftop pool, and the North Carolina State Party on Saturday evening, which is going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm on that team coming from North Carolina, and they are just organizing a really fantastic evening. A note about registering. Jacqueline mentioned that you will need to register for both meetings if you're going to do in person. And what will happen with that is you will get a code when you register for in person, and then you go back in and register for virtual with that code. You will not be charged any additional monies. And then we will be able to get an accurate count to determine our quorum for the virtual meetings. We need that for voting purposes. It's extremely important. Additional tickets, as she said, can be purchased when you register for any of the events or the meals. We didn't want to start our meeting at the crack of dawn, as we sometimes do at 7:30 a.m. So breakfast is on your own, and the meeting will start at 9. The conference will be open at 8:30, and coffee will be available. The hotel has a very nice restaurant, Ella's. I had breakfast there. I did go to Nashville about 2 weeks ago to check out the hotel, the surrounding area, and meet with the staff. And very nice breakfast and a very nice restaurant. Right next door is a very, very popular pancake pantry. Everybody loves it, extremely popular. So take advantage of that for breakfast, but get there early. And many of us know the Corner Bakery, and there's a Corner Bakery in Nashville. It's only about a block away, so there's access to that as well. The meeting agenda is on the website, as Jacqueline showed you. Tuesday and Wednesday, May 23rd and 24th, again, are the virtual meetings. They include some very terrific speakers along with our business meeting, and we'll be covering the bylaw amendments and voting. And at the voting time, you will be given explicit instructions on how the voting will run. So there will be no complications with the voting. Fridays, June 2nd to Sunday, June 4th will be our in-person meeting in Nashville. Everything Nashville. This was my first time in Nashville. I loved it. I'm happy to go back again. I can't wait till June. Again, we'll have many great speakers and time for state sharing and time to get out and see Nashville, and just time to connect with other members, which is always the fun part of the meetings. All elections will take place here and voting will be done electronically using the software that the National Association of Parliamentarians use. Again, you'll be given detailed instructions on the use with cell phones, iPads, and then technology that you have with you. And lastly, all corporate sponsorships for the event, the corporate advertising for the event, and ads will go into the program book and be available in the e-binders. And having said all of that, I will turn it back again to Jacqueline.
Oh, I forgot I was speaking again. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me see here. Thank you so much, Barb and Amanda. So what I wanted to just remind you all is, what we've done this year is we started this year, right, with Board Boot Camp. And Board Boot Camp was all about giving states and counties the tools to help their organization grow. Then we went into Confluence 2.0. Confluence 2.0 I thought was stellar. I was really excited about it. But those speakers were to help you grow as an individual leader and give you certain skills. But again, remember, we say we connect, educate, advocate. And the most important thing I think that I hear from all of our members is the connection. And that's what we're doing here. So your participation in the annual meeting is truly important to really get that full Alliance experience. Now, your participation in the business of the AMA Alliance is an inherent member benefit. That's again why we're trying to do some of this virtually so that more people can participate. Just because you don't have the funds or the time to fly out to Nashville doesn't mean that your voice shouldn't be heard. So therefore, participating is not just your right, but it's also your duty. We need to hear from you to make this organization grow and prosper. So your votes during the annual meeting are very important, and you will have 2 opportunities to vote. One will be virtual with the bylaws portion, and one will be in person with the elections portion. So moving into that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce today Ruth Ryan and Nancy Fody. Ruth Ryan is credentialed as a professional registered parliamentarian, and she's sort of our secret weapon at the AMA Alliance. She is credentialed by the National Association of Parliamentarians and as a certified parliamentarian teacher by the American Institute of Parliamentarians. She serves as chair of the National Association of Parliamentarians Educational Resources Committee and as an instructor for the American Institute of Parliamentarians Correspondence Course. She serves as parliamentarian for the AMA Alliance and the Kentucky Medical Association Alliance, as well as for other national and state organizations. Ruth presents workshops on parliamentary procedure and effective meeting management to legislative and non-legislative societies. We also have Nancy Fody. Nancy has served on the Finance Council for 3 years and understands that the financial health of the AMA is vital to the organization's longevity. She has a background as an MBA, she's a former practice manager, and a former CPA. Nancy is currently the co-president of the Kent County Alliance Foundation and the Michigan Alliance Parliamentarian. She serves, thankfully, on the AMA Alliance Finance Council and the Bylaws Committee. She is extremely involved in her community outside of the Alliance with the Lutheran Women's Missionary League, the Culinary Cabaret Community Health Gala, and Hospice of Holland Regatta fundraiser. She's served as a delegate for the Laketown Township to the State Republican Convention and president of Kalamazoo Parliamentary Law Unit. I will turn it over to Ruth and Nancy. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Jacqueline. Ruth and I are here to briefly talk about bylaws, but first a bit about the Alliance governing documents. These, next slide.
I will share.
Okay, that helps.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, these are the most important documents. The Articles of Incorporation, the name and object of the Alliance, the bylaws, how the organization functions. Both the Articles of Incorporation and the bylaws may be amended by the membership. The procedure for national personnel or job descriptions, which can be amended by the Alliance Board of Directors, the annual meeting procedures, which can be amended by the Board of Directors upon recommendations from the annual meeting and the bylaws committees, and the financial policies, which can be amended by the Board of Directors after recommendations from the Finance Council. This is a,
Oh, sorry.
that's all right. This is a copy of the Articles of Incorporation that was filed in January 1958 with the state of Illinois. Notice it is for the Woman's Auxiliary of the American Medical Association. Needless to say, the articles have been amended several times. All these documents can be found on the Alliance website. The second most important governing document is the Alliance bylaws. They were amended most recently at last year's annual meeting. The Bylaws Committee meets monthly to review documents looking for timeliness, conflicts with other documents, fairness, and relevance. Organizations aren't stagnant, they change. Not only does the Bylaws Committee review documents, you, as an Alliance member, state and county alliances, as well as the AMAA board, councils, committees, and task force can all recommend changes. After reviewing proposed changes, if the Bylaws Committee believes that there is a need for change or a new issue that needs to be presented to the membership as a possible bylaws change, the committee will then determine how and where a proposal will change the existing bylaws. Then the Bylaws Committee will notify the membership of the proposed amendments no less than 30 days before the annual meeting. Now, Ruth will lead you through the process of amending the bylaws.
In amending bylaws, you need to keep in mind that proposed bylaw amendments are main motions, so they're subject to debate and amendment. You can amend them along the way as you discuss them by a majority vote, but when you get to the end and you want to adopt them or reject them, to adopt them, it takes a 2/3 vote, whether they're amended or not. You must stay within the scope of notice. That is, anything that's been given proper notice may be discussed. Anything that's not been given proper notice cannot be brought up. And an example of an individual bylaw amendment scope of notice would be, say, a club has 4 meetings a year and they want to increase it to 8. So any amendment between 4 and 8 would be an order. Amendments must be germane to the motions they intend to modify. They need to be related to them, and you can't have a new issue brought up that would stand alone as a main motion. There are 2 degrees of amendment. They used to call them first and second degree. Now the preferred wording is primary amendment and secondary amendment. An example would be, a simple example would be to buy a computer. And the primary would be to insert laptop before computer. A secondary would be to insert Mac before laptop. Next slide, please. When you go up a ladder, you don't jump off. You back down a rung at a time, and you do that with any amendment. You want to see what the main motion is going to look like before you adopt it or reject it. So you deal with the amendments first. And you have the secondary amendment, then the primary, then your main motion as it's been changed or not changed. But before you vote on that main motion, you can offer other primary or secondary amendments, but 2 of the same degree cannot be on the floor at the same time. The forms of amendment and for consecutive words, and they must be consecutive, is strike, insert, strike and insert, which Nancy and I will show you how that works in a very brief skit that we will perform. And you can add something at the end of a sentence. If the words are not consecutive, you need to substitute a sentence or sentences. Sometimes we substitute a whole article if they're isolated changes throughout that article. This is the strike and insert scenario. The next item of business is consideration of the proposed amendments to the bylaws. They were given notice in the call to convention. The chairman of the bylaws committee will now present them. Madam Chairman, please begin.
Madam President, by the direction of the Bylaws Committee, I move the adoption of the following proposed amendments. The first proposed bylaw amendment is in Article 7, Executive Committee, Section 3, Meetings. The current wording, the Executive Committee shall meet on the call of the President. Proposed amendment by the Bylaws Committee, add in person or by Zoom.
Is there any discussion on the proposed bylaw amendment to add the words in person or by Zoom?
Madam President,
Member A,
I move to amend the proposed bylaw amendment by striking Zoom and inserting electronic means.
and there's a second. It is moved and seconded to amend the proposed bylaw amendment by striking Zoom and inserting electronic means. Is there any discussion on the amendment to strike Zoom and insert electronic means? Member A,
There are many platforms available, so we need a broader term in our bylaws.
is there further discussion on the amendment to strike Zoom and insert electronic means? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it and the amendment is adopted. The question is now on the adoption of the bylaw amendment that the executive committee shall meet on the call of the president in person or by electronic means. Is there further discussion? And the following will be what a presiding officer would say to a large group meeting in person and not voting electronically. Those in favor, please rise. Be seated. Those opposed, please rise. Be seated. There are 2/3 in the affirmative and the amendment is adopted. But if the chair is not clear as to what the result is, he can or she can take the vote again and have it counted if necessary. An example of substitute would be for non-consecutive words, such as the current wording, the treasurer is authorized to sign checks and reconcile quarterly statements. And the proposed amendment could be the treasurer and president are authorized to sign checks. The treasurer must reconcile monthly statements. So you have to, if you're going to jump around in a sentence, you have to substitute something for that.
Any of these methods can be used to amend the bylaws. Remember, only the members can change the bylaws, and furthermore, only at the annual meeting. So don't miss the virtual annual meeting, May 23rd and 24th, when you, Alliance member, will be asked to perform this important privilege of membership. Thank you, and back to you, Jacqueline.
Okay, so let me say first and foremost, thank goodness Ruth is my parliamentarian.
I enjoy it. It's an honor.
And Ruth, I know that was just a little skit that you did, but you being president just seemed to flow very naturally. I really think that you should consider that.
No, I think I'll stay advising the president.
Well, everybody, thank you so much. So again, I just wanted to let you know that in the virtual session, when we are discussing bylaws, we are in very, very good hands because Ruth Ryan will be serving as parliamentarian during that portion. In the in-person portion, unfortunately, Ruth cannot be with us, but during the in-person in Nashville, I'm so proud and excited to announce that Sarah Sanders will serve as parliamentarian during that portion. Before, I know that that's actually a bit pretty in depth. Is there any questions currently regarding just the bylaws portion? Mary Beth, do you see any questions?
I'm looking, not for bylaws.
Okay, so let me make a few remarks and then we'll go straight into questions about annual meeting in general. So first and foremost, I know that you are represented very well on this call, but I also wanted to acknowledge some people that have been behind the scenes doing such great work. Joe Terry and the team out of Nashville are doing an incredible job being the host committee, and they are helping doing everything they can on the back end. Amy, also from TMA, has been a great help. Jennifer Bruce with graphics, and then the entire communications team led by Jamie Shelton. I really appreciate Donna, Debbie, Ginger, Rachel Kinker, Jen Servo, Kirby, Karen, Angel, Chris. There's just so many that's getting the word out. Last thing, well, not last thing. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is this AMA Alliance Leadership Certificate Program. Remember, if you had signed up and attended Board Boot Camp, if you had signed up and attended Confluence 2.0, we are going to pick one session in Nashville. I haven't decided. It will either be the first session with Jesse Farrell. He is doing a session titled How You Leave Them Feeling, about how to connect to members and how to make them feel valued. Or the last session, which is with Dr. Robert Wicks, and he's going to talk about how can you restore yourself and still provide, how can you do all the great work you're doing in the community if you haven't taken care of yourself first? I think both of those are germane, but one of those will fulfill your certificate, and you will be presented with your leadership certificate at the annual meeting. So again, this is very, very important for us to connect, and I will share one final screen here. So this is the graphic that Jennifer Bruce did, which we're so excited about, in the heart of Nashville. I already talked to you about getting your certificate for Leadership Academy. But this is what I wanted you to see. So if you can, annual meeting at AMAalliance.org is the direct link for you to get in touch with the annual meeting chairs if you have any questions or problems regarding hotel or this or that and so on. Info at AMA Alliance. This is the email that you need to send if you, for some reason, can't log into your website, if you are not a current member. Remember, we are checking roles. So anybody that is registered for the virtual or for the in-person, for you to be able to vote, you have to be a member in good standing. So these are the ones that you should reach out to. So Mary Beth, I will turn it over to you for questions.
Okay, and I am looking at questions in the chat to address, and there was one that just for all of you guys to know, when we signed up and Jacqueline was doing the presentation off of signing up off of the main page or the home page, you can do that, but if you are a member and sign in to the members only sign and register from that, your registration page comes preloaded with all your information and you don't have to write all that stuff in. So if you are a member, to save yourself a little typing time, just fill out your form from the members only side and you can fill it out from there. I'm trying to see. I'm looking for more questions. And Sarah Sanders did comment, don't forget for that leadership certificate, if you missed boot camp and Confluence sessions, or the boot camp, if you sign up, you can get the link. I think Confluence, Jacqueline, correct me, is the link ready yet for Confluence to go out or no?
The videos were so large that they're truncating them, and so they're hoping that that link goes out this week.
Okay, good. But boot camp is there, but you do need to register. And when you register, you will get the link to go get that. They're not just sitting on the computer. So you have time to do that and still get your certificate, even if you miss both events and are attending. Let's see, Rachel, can you walk?
Anybody, you all can raise your hands in the reactions, or you can just unmute yourself and jump on if you have questions.
Let's see, can you walk through the meeting registration again, in person? Okay, if you are going, I'll do the registration for the in-person. When you register for the in-person meeting, it will include no extra fee, but no extra cost, but you will be able to sign up. You will be able to attend the virtual meeting also. But once you do that, you have to sign up for the virtual in addition to that, just as Jacqueline said, for quorum. So once you sign up for the in-person meeting, you will get a link so you can sign up for the virtual portion. And if you're only doing the virtual, then you just sign up for the virtual portion only. I hope that helps. And if not,
Is that
raise your
clear,
hand.
everybody? Yeah, does anybody need clarification on that? And it's okay, if you guys only sign up for the in-person, you will get plenty of email reminders saying, hey, we see that you signed up for in-person. Are you planning on attending virtual? You will get an email push just to remind you like, hey, if you want to, please do. What we're asking though is don't sign up for virtual if you don't plan on attending, because that sets my quorum.
Okay, I'm not seeing, I don't see everybody on the screen, so I can't tell if anybody has a hand raised. I don't see anything, nothing new type. So
Mary
you
Beth?
guys are just so well educated.
Mary Beth, how about maybe Amanda, somebody had sent me a direct thing asking what's the closest airport and how much is an Uber or taxi from the airport to the hotel?
From the hotel, the airport's right at, I think, 13 minutes. And the only reason I know that is because I picked up Barb when she came in and we tagged it. So it's about 13 minutes. As far as an Uber, it's a good question because that will change pricing now come June when the events and stuff are here. So I honestly don't know the answer to that, but the airport was a real quick little drive over.
Yeah, very quick.
Great. Any other questions, everybody?
Jacqueline, this is Jamie Shelton in Oklahoma. I signed up yesterday for the virtual portion only. It was super easy. The nice thing is I was able to select pay by invoice, which means I can write a check from my local alliance and they're going to pay for my attendance for the virtual session. And it was real easy. I got an email sent to me with the invoice that I was able to print, has the address. So I'll just write my check, put it in the envelope, and send it to Florida for my $100 to get to the AMA Alliance offices.
Thank you so much. Thank you for testing that out.
And I'll say, if you guys have like local groups that have money, ask them to pay your registration fee. If you know, we need you there. So.
And again, you know, those two virtual ones, like I said, you will be hearing from one speaker each day. So you also get a little something. You're not just paying us to go through bylaws. Ruth, would you and Nancy mind talking about the reference committees versus when we vote?
Go ahead, Ruth.
Okay, the reference committee is held on the first day, and Rachel did a fantastic job that last year on that reference committee. The chair of the bylaws committee, which is Karen B. Grow this year, will go through the proposed bylaw amendments, and they will answer questions. The bylaws committee will serve as the reference committee. It's really to take testimony. A reference is a hearing to take testimony. It's not debate and it's not a vote. And the vote will be the next day. If you remember in the past, we used to have a reference committee in Chicago. And it went on for a long time. And then the bylaws committee or the reference committee, the same group, would meet and decide they may want to change their proposed amendments. So they have an option to come in and amend what they've proposed so far. And that's voted on first. And then the reference committee, the next day, the script, which I help write for the president and the bylaws chair, will have them handle the consideration of the bylaw amendments, and we'll take a vote. And you can group some things. People call that housekeeping, but that's not really a proper word, but it says it all. If you want to have some non-contentious items, you can either put them in a consent agenda or you can group them. And you could have discussion separately, but then a vote on the whole group at once. You have to be careful you don't put contentious items in something like that in a group, because you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So you have to be careful that you only have things that you think will easily be adopted. Actually, Jacqueline could probably get general consent on most of the things that are very reasonable, and I don't know what the bylaws committee will propose yet. We haven't come to that final decision in the bylaws committee, but they'll see it. You'll get a notice of that. So
Thank you.
that covers it all.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another question in the chat, and it was, how about parking for those of us driving? And Amanda can answer that one.
I can answer it for you guys. So if you are standing out in front of the hotel, facing the hotel, around the sides to the left or right are covered parking garages. And then directly across the street is a parking lot that you can park in as well. So obviously you can pay per hour, per day, and then the cost will vary if you have the covered parking versus the parking lot.
Okay.
Valet parking is $50 a day.
Yes, thank you, Barb.
Which is still good because I think Chicago is 67.
Yeah.
All right, and then final thing, let's see here. Oh, state sharing. So for those of you all on, because we have more time, so right, we're going to start at 8:30 if you want to get there early. We are actually going to provide you lunch instead of providing you breakfast, as Barb said. And so that way you don't have to rush out within an hour and find your lunch and come back. But we are going to make them working lunches. So the first lunch, I'm super excited. We're going to do awards and then lead right into lunch. And during that lunch hour, it's going to be an open state sharing portion. So while you're having lunch, we will actually invite anybody and everyone who wants to can actually stand up on the mic and take a few minutes to share with everybody else what's happening in their state. And the reason we're doing this is because we can learn from each other. That is one thing that I saw traveling is there's so many great things happening in every alliance that we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So by having this time to share, we then can also say, oh, I really want to talk to Sana about what they did here, and I want to talk to Claire or Ron. And that way, and we also decided to do it on the first day so that you can put a face to everybody. All right, any other final burning questions? If I can say anything to get you guys to come to Nashville, it is this. The pimento cheese spread at this pancake pantry was literally the best thing I've ever had. It was just, I put it on my pancakes, I put it in my grits, I put it everywhere. It was the best thing. So thank you, Amanda Barron, for that. And that is the restaurant tied to our hotel. So come.
And I could also attest to the breakfast potatoes
Oh,
that are fabulous.
So, okay. All right. Well, I will wrap up. Thank you guys so much for coming and taking the time. I mean, this is actually a fantastic number of people to have joined this call. I really know that there's a lot still coming up. There's a couple things I'd like to put on your radar. So obviously, annual meeting is this. We would love for you to just shout it from the rooftops, get as many people to come virtually as possible, get as many people to come in Nashville as possible, even for one day. But I want to share with you something else. And I know Kendra Harvey, you are on, correct? Is Beverly Kerbo on?
I'm here.
Hi,
Hi.
Kendra. I am going to give you a hot 45 seconds or 1 minute. I would love for you to chat about this.
Sure. I'm always happy to chat about this, although I'm not really prepared, but this is
Wait. Let me introduce you. Let me give you a proper introduction. I'm so sorry, everybody. Kendra Harvey is one of the most dynamic people I have ever met. She and Beverly Kerbo are chairs for this Physician Family Experience Survey, and they are working under Beth Irish, who you all know and love, who is chair for the Programs Council. And so take it away, Kendra.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. So this is a really exciting project that is launching on Monday. The survey has been designed. It's beautiful. I've had several people test it and their feedback has all been wonderful. The response that we're getting from the Facebook groups that we're interacting with is very positive. So if this is the first time that you're hearing about this, part of my role as the chairperson of the Physician Family Health and Wellness Committee is to help create content for our physician families. And in doing some of that work, I ran across the research of Dr. Sotil, which many of you are familiar with. And it occurred to me that we don't have any recent data. So we're trying to create things with outdated information. And is this still what's happening in our physician families? And so this survey was born to really, to quote Jacqueline, to take the pulse of our membership and our potential members to see, what are they struggling with? What are the things that are forefront in their minds? And what are the things that they're doing really well that we can share with other physician families? And so this is a comprehensive survey. There's about 70 questions. However, the survey moves very quickly. I've done it several times now, so I can get it down to like 7 minutes. But if you could plan on 10 or 15 minutes to take the survey, that is plenty of time. And then we're going to be taking that information and using it within our community to help identify resources and content that we can create. In the past, we've been sharing other people's content and resources. And so this will be an opportunity for the AMAA to really step up and to produce some of their own work and to share that with its members. So it's a very exciting time, and we're hoping to see a couple of things. One is an increase in membership and interest in the AMAA. So hopefully that will spread into our local and state alliances as well. And then also just some awareness. As we were working on this project, we ran into several people who they did not even understand the mission of the AMAA or realize that the organization existed. Like there's a gap between what we're doing and the members in our potential memberships. And so it's going to also shine a light on, what is the brand image that we have and how can we help clarify our message and reach people more directly so that we can welcome them into our community. So you'll probably be hearing more about it over the next couple of days. And then of course, on Monday when it launches, we hope that everybody again will take that survey, and it closes on April 15th, at which time we are going to busily start analyzing the data. And then we'll have something hopefully to present around the time of the annual meeting.
We absolutely will. So here's, it hasn't been announced, but Dr. Wayne Sotil will be a speaker at the annual meeting, and he will be going through some of this as well. So we really truly have a stellar lineup. Kendra, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Real quick question on the survey. When we get the link for the survey, can we share that link with whomever? And does it have to be just like the spouses, or do you want the physicians too all answering the survey?
Yeah, thank you for your question, Mary Beth. We want the physician, spouse, or partner to answer. So it is the physician family experience survey, but we're looking at the experience from the perspective of the spouse or the partner. So please send it to anybody that you know who is the spouse or a partner of a medical student, a resident, a fellow, or a practicing physician, or a retired physician. So again, we want to get the whole spectrum of the physician family at every stage. So yes, please, please, please share.
And just adding to that, Kendra, you will get couples. So you want the physician couples to respond to, both of them are medical students, both of them, they can share their spouse experience. Okay.
Correct. If they are partner to a physician, regardless of whether they're a physician or not, they can participate. So in the case of a dual physician family, a dual physician couple, both of them may answer the survey questions from their perspective of being married or partnered with a physician.
All right. So we are towards the end of our time. Kendra, thank you so much. We really, just so you realize, the first time we did this, we had about 600, 700 respondents. I'm hoping for 2,000 for this. Kendra is hoping for 4,000. So literally take this link when you get it. And actually, when people get on our website now, you can sign up to get the link. so that you don't have to remember to get the link on Monday. So you can sign up now, and when the link opens, you will get an email for it. You can send that out by text, by email, post it on your Facebook, anything you want. So, all right, we are at the end of our time. Everybody, thank you so, so much. Thank you to all our presenters. And we thank you really for being a member of the AMA Alliance and believing in our mission. I hope to see each of you and give you a hug and see you in Nashville. Thank you so much. And we can stop recording.